Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name is CB Studios, also known as Kurt. Sorry it's been a little bit. I had intended to put out a couple of videos throughout the course of March, and man, you ever had one of those projects that just you start and you have nothing but issues as you go through? Look, that video will come out. It's gonna be really cool. It's not horror related, but it's gonna be a really cool video. But I'm just about to pop off for a convention this weekend, and I tested out a new theory on how to whiten some stains in a Ghostface mask. So I'm here to talk to you today about that. Now, you may remember somewhere around a year ago, I showed off a bunch of masks from my friend Jacob. He has an extensive Ghostface collection, including Gen 1s, he's got Gen 2s, he has HNs, he has TD stamps, T stamps, a whole lot of the newer ones. He's got some older Funworld pieces that we've seen right here on the channel as well. A really cool guy, great collection. And a while ago, I traded him the Doofus Deluxe for a Gen 2 Ghostface mask that we had nicknamed the Jigsaw. It looks like this. Now you'll see on these images here that he has a giant red spot on the cheek, and he has a little bit of a mustache, and there's some other light staining and things like that. The shape for this mask is still in really good condition, but we've got some pretty gnarly stains. But this is what this mask looks like now. Look at that. Now, before we go too far into me talking about the process that I used, I want to say a couple of things. This was a test. I tested this on my mask. I was aware of the risks that this could damage the mask potentially, as it's not something that I've done before. If you try this, you are trying it at your own risk. I'm not liable for anything that goes wrong. Obviously, wear gloves, wear a mask, make sure it's in a well-ventilated area. You never know what sort of reaction you're going to get. And, of course, keep it away from animals and children and that sort of thing. Second of all, this is not going to whiten the whole mask. There are multiple ways to retro-bright or whiten a mask. This is not one of them. This is to spot remove stains. Now, you can see that there are very little remnants of that original staining left on this mask. This was the cheek that had the big rosy Jigsaw patch, and we are pretty much invisible, and this is all that's left of the mustache on the front of this. Now, I didn't have to sand this mask, I didn't paint it, I really didn't do a whole lot except for use an acne cream and a UV light to lighten the stains on this mask. Now, this overall mask has not had a full whitening treatment. It has, however, been washed just gently first off in dish soap and water. So, big bucket of nice warm tap water and just 2 drops of dish soap, just enough to get all of the dirt off, scrubbed with a nice soft fingernail brush or nail brush. And that loosened a whole lot of dirt on the surface and has really made this come up a whole lot whiter. Now, after that, I purchased a product from Amazon called Terminator 10. It's a severe acne cream. Now, this is a spot treatment for acne, and the main ingredient that I bought this for is it has an active ingredient of 10% benzoyl peroxide. It's going to be down here. Yes. Now, this is designed for people with really bad acne conditions, cystic acne, and that sort of thing. It's a spot treatment. It's a cream. Comes in a little tube like this. That's it. Little tube like this, yeah. And all I did with this cream is I applied it just on my finger, as it's skin safe, it's designed to go on your skin. I applied a little bit on my finger and just smeared it over the surface of the stain. And on the surface of the stain, I then covered the whole mask in saran wrap or cling wrap. Made sure that I didn't get any on the shroud or anything like that. And I exposed it to ultraviolet light. Now, I originally started off using a UV light bulb. It's a little LED one that screws into an Edison screw light fixture. And that kind of worked. However, I live in Australia. It's always a really high ultraviolet index. And so I actually sat it outside in the sun, and I found that had some incredibly effective results. Now, it did take several days to get these stains out. I did have to do multiple passes. I did wipe off any of the dried cream before I reapplied. I made sure it was nice and clean. I checked the progress. I made sure that nothing on the shroud was getting bleached. But from what I can tell, it doesn't affect the paint on the mask, so the black. It's just going to help break down whatever is stuck inside the vinyl for this mask. I will say, if you're going to try this, it's certainly a method that can work. However, it's not necessarily going to work. It's not guaranteed to work. It shouldn't damage your mask, but there is a chance of it damaging your mask. And I did know that when I tried this. Now, this was done mainly as a test to see whether I could do it, and I wasn't. It had a bunch of stains on there, so it's not like the mask was going to get any worse from trying this cleaning product. Once I had gotten it to this state, to this really nice, clean, crisp state that I was very happy with, I made sure to wash the mask again in warm soapy water and make sure that we cleaned off any of that extra residue. Just made sure it wasn't going to affect the mask anymore. Now, this isn't a process to whiten the whole mask. There are many tutorials on using like 40-vol hydrogen peroxide as opposed to benzol peroxide. There's no guarantee with whitening a mask that it's going to stay white. It will probably yellow over time again. In fact, I've done the same process on my Star Wars Scout Trooper armor, and that has slowly started to yellow again. However, this, because it's actively removing ingrained stains in the vinyl, unless it comes in contact with something that will stain it again, this should get rid of those stains. I did notice that the mustache took a lot more work to try and get rid of than the big red stain that was on the side, and there was actually another big patch of red down on the side of the cheek that's pretty much gone. The mustache was what looked to be maybe a Sharpie mark at some point, so your mileage will vary trying to remove different materials and different stains out of your masks. Will probably vary depending on the masks that you're trying to whiten as well, whatever the material they're made out of. I don't know if this is going to remove blue spots from masks. Say you've got a 25th anniversary or you've got a Scream 4 Collector's Edition mask. I don't know if it's going to remove the stains from something like that. It's worth a try, but I can't guarantee it. To answer another question, it has not affected the glow-in-the-dark qualities of this mask. In fact, it glows brighter than it ever has because it's nice and clean now, so happy win with that. There's no real discernible quality difference to the surface of the mask. It hasn't taken any of that surface texture away. It hasn't changed the finish or anything like that. And it hasn't left a brighter area around where that treatment has gone. It's just removed the marks from where I wanted them removed. So very, very good to know. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the best way to remove these stains. If you live in the United States of America, you have a lot more options for doing this sort of process. You've probably got easier things than Amazon to get benzol peroxide acne creams. You can get a product called Removes It. There's also, which is designed for removing stains from vinyl. It's a doll thing. I don't know. It's going to cost me like 5 times the cost of the product to get it here in Australia, so I didn't bother with that. I went this method. You've got options like Pink Away, which I believe Drowned Boy, Douglas Little, is testing out a theory with that, so maybe we'll see a video from that if he hasn't done that already. I don't know. And you do also have places like Ghostface Recovery that do offer whitening and pink removal and stain removal for Ghostface masks. They're based in the United States as well. I can't speak for any of those options because they're not the options that I tried. Don't ask me if they're going to work because I haven't tried them. Your best bet is to try them yourself. And I mean, that's half the fun, is just experimenting and seeing how things turn out. I've turned a pretty beaten up mask that admittedly did have some character into an absolute gem in my collection, and I'm really, really happy with the results. I think it's turned out really, really good for the amount of work that I put in. And I mean, the acne cream was only like 28 bucks. So 28 bucks to really clean up this mask and make it an absolute gorgeous addition to my collection is an absolute joy. Now, you may notice there's a little bit of white on the back of this. I've actually got some Velcro safety pinned into the top of this. I will be wearing it with my Ghostface row for a convention this weekend, which is going to be really exciting. That's about all from me today, guys. If you've been following my Ghostface Down Under Instagram page, you've probably seen photos of this and some stuff of the process, which are going to be interspersed throughout this video. But if you wanted to see a video and a little bit of a rundown on how I did things, this is how I did it. If you want to try this process, I absolutely recommend it. I don't have all of the answers for how this works or the process to use or what tips and tricks. Anything that I know is sort of said in this video. As long as you have patience and you prepare the mask properly, you make sure it's clean, you make sure your product is new, and you try and take your time and you work through it slowly, you can get some really good results like I did. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you found this helpful, if you enjoyed seeing this little video on this guy, please drop me a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. I do have some more videos coming. In fact, I've got a Star Wars video on a very new cosplay that will be coming after the weekend. I've got to get some B-roll footage for that. I do have some new Ghostface stuff in the works as well as some Pirates of the Caribbean and all that sort of thing. I'm not going to promise you'll get a video a week, because I can't promise that, because the world is exhausting, and projects do fall by the wayside pretty regularly. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm out. Goodbye.